Greetings. It is the weekend, so a little close to the weekend. And I have a little bit of a cold going away. I was just looking at Channel Awesome's thing on manga and anime, and their selections for the best manga and anime. And I thought it might be an amusing review thing to do a brief thing as to what manga and anime, anime, I liked growing up as well. You probably know two or three of those lists. You've been listening to this channel. On Location Cat is a major fan of Robotech and the Transformers. They're certainly in there, probably around number 1 or 2. The Transformers started out in Japan as Diaclone, and it's Transformers. Also, there'd be a Transformer over there, but Transformers. And yes, they've done versions of it over there. We've done versions of it over here. They've cross-pollinated. They've come back. They're still doing it. Transformers Adventure is what they're now calling Robots in Disguise last year. Which is a remake of Robots in Disguise, Car Robot from 2001. Sort of a Beast Wars, Transformers Prime spinoff here, but they're treating it, but it wasn't supposed to be. Anyway, there's so many continuities. Transformers just goes all over the map on both sides of the ocean. So, Transformers is one of them. I'm just going to go over the list that I posted on their website. Man, let's see. Next one is Robotech. Now, they kind of didn't want to go on to Robotech too much. They did mention it, but mentioned that the American dub took the 3 series and did their own version. I have both versions. The Robotech version, it was 3 discrete series. It was Macross, and it was Space Cavalry Southern Cross, and it was Space Climber Matsupita. And they combined the 3 of them into the American series Robotech. They did the same thing with Captain Harlock, which is also on the list, but they combined that with Queen of 1,000 Years, the American version. That's on the list too, Captain Harlock. Different story though. That's a space pirate. That's actually a spin-off of something else, which is also on the list. So we'll get to that in a moment. But the Robotech, yes, they commented on Min-Mei being as annoying as Anakin Skywalker. I don't think she is. I think her brother Jason, who was introduced early on and forgotten via, they just forget about him early on in the series, he's more annoying than Anakin. Min-Mei was annoying, but not in the same way. I mean, she ends up being part of the triangle that Hunter and Lisa Hayes. And I was older than the guy on the show. The guy on the show was a young kid when it came out. I was 13 or 14, so I was just discovering, ooh, this is interesting, love triangle, I kind of get what that is a little bit, yeah. Anyway, so then there was another show that I watched called Starblazers, which over there was called Space Cruiser Yamato, Space Battleship Yamato, and it was a bizarre idea. The Japanese had taken the crashed and sunk World War II ship, the Yamato, in a dystopian Earth future where the Gamelons have radiated the Earth and rendered it lifeless, so they had to send this space cruiser out to solve the problem with Queen Starsha and the planet. They made several Japanese movies and spin-offs of this. They made all kinds of things. Over here it's called Starblazers. That was one of the things I grew up on too. So that was earlier. That was when I was a young kid when it came out. But then they re-released it over and over again. That was one of them, Starblazers. And you'll notice that if you see Captain Harlock, that it looks a lot like it. That's because it's some of the same animation team and the same characters. Captain Harlock in Japan is a spin-off of Starblazers. There is an unsung brother and a cousin character to Wildstar. And the brother character is sort of like an evil twin kind of thing. And he goes into the other dimension, and he becomes Captain Harlock. And that's where that series comes from, which they explored in the live-action one the animation. They also did Starblazers. Yeah, so that's one of them, Captain Harlock. In America, they messed that up. They mixed it with Queen of 1,000 Years, and that was a different show. That's why it didn't make sense, because it was non-linear. Dr. Sane was in both of them, little doctor guy with the potato head. A really odd little show. It wasn't really a triangle so much as it was just space cruiser ship trying to get to the other side of the galaxy. Another galaxy, even. Really, another larger cloud. Yeah, yeah. Neat manga story. Let's see some other stuff. A little later, Cowboy Beebop. I was in college when this came out. That grew on me after a while. Cowboy Bebop. I like that in the movie. The Cowboy Bebop. It's a dystopian that's on Mars. Sort of a cowboy on Mars kind of thing. This is kind of fun. It's a colony. Kind of inspired some of my early stuff. Cowboy Bebop. There you go. Let's see. What else do I got here? Captain Harlock mentioned that. Some of them are standalone ideas, though. Macross. Okay. Okay, another show that I was amused about was Dragon Ball Z. With the American dub is just really bad, and they did a redub with the American dub and improved it a little bit. Yeah, mainly Cartoon Network for that. Dragon Ball Z. I enjoyed that one. That was on the list. Dragon Ball Z in the later version. Yes. Also, I think it was also college too. Something called Mobile Suit Gundam was a big deal. Yes, Mobile Suit Gundam. There was all kinds of Mobile Suit Gundams, and just recently at the Fanime convention this year, I got to see the Gundam dude that actually one of the animator dudes that actually did the Gundam stuff. Of course, I couldn't get any pictures. No pictures, but I did get to see him. That was cool. So I got to see that, and that was cool. So that was cool. Been a while, but since I've seen any of it, I didn't know what the version of it is now. But I'm thinking about the old version, like the first season or two. I didn't mention it on the list, but Escaflowne was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. Ghost in the Shell and Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. There's another one, Ghost in the Shell. They're making a movie out of Standalone Complex. We'll see if that works. It's an American one, probably won't. Ghost in the Shell. Cool. A little known oddity that aired not on Cartoon Network, but on some of the other stations, and the Cartoon Network picked it up. There was an era in which Fox TV was picked up stuff in Channel 9. Some of the other channels had picked up some of the anime manga stuff just to try it out. And 44 as well, some of the local channels. And they tried out this little show called Tenchi Muyo, which was the same idea as many of those other shows back then that had, a love triangle going on in it between the two girls and a guy. They sort of like the Three's Company thing going on over and over again. They love that over there in Japan. So Three's Company was an American show with a guy and two girls, and the guy's trying to pretend to be a little effeminate so they can get to hang out with the girls. It's the same idea. In this one, though, it was a little weird and trippy and different because, they had this spaceship that would transform into a spaceship bunny that would transform into a spaceship. It was a little bunny dude. It was Cabot. It's hilarious. I just liked that little show. It was stupid. I don't know. I just liked it. Tenchi Muyo. Let's see. The Murasaki stuff. I like all that stuff. A House Moving Castle. That's probably the best one. House Moving Castle. There's one. That was a movie. But, I think they did manga stuff for that, too. A bunch of his other stuff, too. But that one, Kimba the White Tiger, the inspiration for The Lion King, should be on there, but it isn't. The Borrowers, also. Sorry. But the Japanese one more than the American dub. Well, the American dub's all right. That's a lot of them. Honorable mentions, too. I'll keep going. Akira. The most awesome animation thing that should be on there. It's a movie, though, but it became a manga as well. Akira. Akira was a post sort of World War space epic thing in which the psychic and kinetic powered children mutants, one of them is killed and he's been separated into pieces and he wants to put his body back together using the soul energy or something, and they're trying to stop him. And at the end, there's this big freaking explosion thing. It's really cool. I don't know if Godzilla counts as, although it is manga and anime, I don't know if it necessarily counts as this, but I would list Godzilla because Godzilla is cool. Yeah, so. Oh, yes, I've almost forgot. Battle of the Planets. The American dub is really bad of Battle of the Planets. But that would be Gatchaman or G-Force in Japan. The Eagle Force, basically the Super Sentai. There's always a super team, basically. So, yeah, that's what that was. Yeah, Gatchaman. That's the G-Force, the Battle of the Planets. They put on there's always a big gun, a skinny one, a little quirky sort of Anakin type one. There's always, that kind of thing. Very similar in Voltron as well. There were 2 Voltron shows in America. There was the car one, which wasn't as good, which was later. And there was a lion one that's earlier. They always go back to the lion one and reinvent that one. Kind of like Macross, always going back to Macross. There have been like 4 or 5 different versions of Macross. And last year, there was yet another one. They've done another Macross. And we have yet to get a copy of that. But we'll get a copy of that. We have Frontier. We have to get a copy of the next one eventually. But can't review it. Yeah, because it would be a bootleg copy. We can't do that. Or at least I can't show pictures from it. Let's see. The Power Wars. Did I get everything? I think I did. Voltron. Yeah, I like the car Voltron. The car Voltron was better than the vehicle one. There was a third one with planes, but they sort of dumped that idea. So the American one sort of goes halfway. And what's interesting is in the American dubs of all these shows, you'd often see similar voice actors that would go on to do other stuff. So Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Voltron and Starblazers and all them would have the same voice actors popping up doing different stuff. The Dungeons and Dragons as well. You'd have Peter Cullen or Frank Welker doing a bunch of voices on all of them, and you'd have this weird, bizarre sort of thing. You'd have Optimus Prime, his voice would be coming out of the captain on Voltron or something, or the team at the bad guy on the Venture on the Dragon one. Or you'd have Frank Welker doing like 3 different things and being on Scooby-Doo or something. And he's just a Decepticon cannon guy, Megatron, or something. You'd have the guys on Robotech doing other stuff, ending up on other things. You'd have but that was later. You'd have, I think you had at least 2 of the guys from G.I. Joe ending up on like Akira or something. On the dub, at least, and that was kind of fun. And also you had a Transformers guy doing that, and a Voltron guy, which is interesting. A little bit of a Robotech guy too. There was like in the dub of Akira, there's like 3 or 4 different famous guys. I was like, wait a minute, that's Lunk from Robotech. What? What's he doing that character? Well, oh, okay. No. But or that's Rick Hunter from. Yeah. It was funny how this was Channel Awesome. They were doing on their Awesome Comics website. They were doing this thing, and I just decided to whip this out and do this right now because it was interesting. So it inspired me to do my own, and they sort of went over some I hadn't heard of because I don't know any of the newer stuff. They were much younger than I am though, so they. Yeah, if the one that had watched Robotech was 4, he's exactly 10 years younger than me. So he doesn't. What do you think about it? It was 30 years ago. Oh my gosh, it was like in a lifetime. It's Robotech. Transformers the movie is 30 years old. It's hard to believe. The live action, the cool one, the animated one, with the rock music in it. You got the touch. Yeah, not the Michael Bay one, even though there's some of the Michael Bay stuff worked. It just, the new team that's doing this night one's going to be nuts. I'm telling you right now. It's got some insider stuff on that. The last night, it's going to be weird. So yeah, they're picking a particular Transformers episode, and I can reveal it because it's rumor and hearsay. But apparently, from what I gather from the rumor and hearsay of the last night, They're doing a Decepticon in King Arthur's Court, which is an episode of the classic show, like they did with Part 2, with the Part 2 and 3. Dark of the Moon had a little bit of elements of Megatron's Master Plan in it. Part 3. This last one had elements of one of my things. This last one had elements of Transtech, but it was also Armada, basically. So it wasn't really me. I was ripping off Armada, and they was ripping off that. Okay, so they got it from the Armada, but yeah, but yeah, last night's gonna go do some night stuff, I guess. Okay, King Arthur's Court. Yeah. What would be really cool is if they combined that with Evil Dead 2, in which they went to Nightland or whatever. That'd be awesome. And have Ash show up and go, Brim. Yeah, that'd be cool. No, they won't do that. He'll have Marky Mark Wahlberg put on the thing and go, the chainsaw and go, groovy. Just to be weird. But no, yeah, Transformers 5 The Last Night is coming soon. But, yes. I think next summer. So, yeah. Yeah. And as far as I know, I think they're going to bring back Cade again. So, Cade is coming back. So, Marky Mark will be playing Mark's cards. Again. Yes. Why don't they just cast us in this movie instead of playing our characters? But yeah, so I kind of look like Editor, the other guy, or something. Oh yeah, they didn't include Avatar because Avatar is a nod to manga. It's not actually. They made a manga afterward, but it's a nod to it. So they did not include Avatar: The Last Airbender because that is, or Korra, the second Airbender. Because they were technically not manga. They were nods to manga. But yes, I still would have given them an honorable mention there. Anyway, so, The Last Night.